I do so well during the week and then I ruin my diet on the weekend. I hear this from so many men that I work with, and many of them have been saying it to themselves for years, this same pattern. In this video, I'm going to explain why the weekend keeps playing out as it does. There are a few things driving it, and most of which are not what you'd actually expect. And there's one in particular, what actually happens during the week and how it affects the weekend. So I'll come back to that before the end. So first off, there's actually quite a lot of research on this. Studies tracking eating across the whole week consistently show more calories consumed from Friday to Sunday. And another piece of research tracked body weight over a whole year, and the participants tended to gain more weight on the weekends than the weekdays. And of course, not all body weight is fat, but it just shows the trend there. So what's actually happening here? The first thing to understand is structure, because during the weekdays, you have a routine. So you get up at the same time, you go to work at the same time, you eat at a similar time every single day. And that takes away a lot of the thinking and distractions around food. The weekend tends to remove a lot of this routine and structure. So you often wake later on, the day is more open. And because of that, food often becomes one of the main things you're actively deciding about, rather than just fitting in between everything else. And the problem with that is that more decisions means more chances that those decisions go in a way that you did not really intend them to go. And this is not a willpower problem, it's a problem that appears when you take away that scaffolding that's holding together your diet and eating during the week and just leave it open during the weekend. And if you'd like to understand a little bit more about your eating patterns and why you might not be getting the results that you want, there's a quick free assessment in the description below. And this gives you a score on your behaviors and identifies problems that you can fix and help you get better results. The second thing I want to talk about is environment. So on the weekend, there's more chance that you'll be eating out at restaurants or someone else's house. And this is where food becomes less controllable. You may be given things or order things you'd never even consider touching on a Tuesday evening, for example. But here's the most important part and bit that most people miss entirely. Your weekday is building your weekend. A week of restriction, a calorie target, cutting out carbs, skipping lunch, tracking everything tightly creates pressure. And not just in one way, in multiple ways at once. Every time you said no to something during the week, your brain didn't forget about it. And there's really good research on this. When you try and suppress a thought or tell yourself that food is off limits, the suppression itself keeps the thought active. The forbidden thing becomes more present in your mind the more you try not to think about it. So by Friday, it's not faded away, it's actually amplified. The forbidden food becomes more present in your mind the more you try not to think about it. So by Friday, it's not faded away, it's actually amplified. And this is why at the end of the week, you tend to binge more. And then there's the physiological side as well. Restriction raises your cortisol levels, and higher cortisol creates more cravings and more desire for higher calorie foods. So we have the mental side when you're trying to suppress the thoughts of those foods, and the physical side as well when you're cutting them out, both working at the same time. And along with both of these, your willpower is running out as well. Resisting things is not free. Every time your willpower steps in, it's costing something. For someone that's had a busy week, at work, dealing with family, and then piling a diet on top of that, tracking, measuring, counting, the willpower by the weekend is naturally low. So when you say it runs out, it's not because there's anything wrong with you or you're weak, you've just spent it. And so to emphasize that there's nothing wrong with you if your willpower is running out, it's just the wrong tool for this. And there's also another layer underneath all of this, the belief that the weekend should be different. After a structured, demanding week, there's a deeply held idea that the weekend should be easier and almost free of rules, something earned and way more relaxed. That weekend is your time. And food is one of the main ways that gets expressed. You've worked hard, restricted, done really well with your diet. You feel like you deserve just at least something nice. But what we often find is that often leads to multiple things. And again, if you'd like to understand specifically why this is happening for you, I have my free assessment in the description below. And to add to this, there's something else underneath that deserving feeling as well. When you've been restricting all week, Food at social situations stops being something enjoyable and something else to manage. You're out at lunch calculating, or it's someone's birthday and you're watching all their meat cake without a second thought. Over time, this can almost lead to a background resentment of, it's so easy for everyone else, why is it so hard for me? And why do I have to live this life this way just to get the body? And when the weekend arrives and those rules drop, part of this resentment lowers too, and you feel like life is being lived. And this is where the binary thinking comes in, the bit that tends to surprise most people. Most men I work with have two modes, totally on the plan or totally off the plan. Good days and bad days. There's no middle ground. There's no Saturday that's broadly fine without being perfect. So when Friday comes around, it's like a switch is flipped. All the rules are gone, and when the rules are gone, everything is then permitted. Researchers have looked into this and seen a clear pattern. Google searches on a Monday for healthy eating are always higher than the rest of the week. What does this say? The weekend is often the time when people are overeating. So there's this on during the week, the off during the weekend, and that Monday is the reset day. And this pattern continues week to week for a lot of people. So the point here is to be aware of what's happening. The way you are dieting during the weekdays are causing the problem on the weekend. And there's one thing that causes a lot of this weekday restriction that's worth talking about, because it sits underneath a lot of this. The reason a lot of men restrict so hard during the weekdays is urgency. The goal is fast results, lose it quickly, undo the damage from the weekend, get back to where I was. And every diet has kind of reinforced that framing. 12-week transformations, before and afters. The idea is that you won't have to endure this horrible diet for long if you push harder. There seems to be this message where if you do it another way, you're not trying hard enough. But the paradox is, this tight, controlled eating during the weekdays is what makes the weekend inevitable. And then when the weekend happens again, the conclusion isn't restriction caused it, it's, oh, I need to try harder and be more controlled and more on it, more exercise during the week. So it reinforces this cycle. So over time you end up building more pressure, more control, and you get bigger swings until you probably had this where you just go off your plan for a while because you need some sense of self back, some sense of just feeling free. And with that, you also lose some of the results you gained, feel guilty, and then end up going back on the plan. And I want to be direct with you here because I don't want this to just sit as interesting information you do nothing with. The weekend swing is not going to be fixed by tracking harder during the week, saving up calories for when you go overboard. That's not the way to do this. Those are just aimed at the symptom, and when you try and control the symptom, the same pattern just comes back week to week. It's tiring. It's like taking a paracetamol to control joint pain where you haven't actually fixed the problem. Yes, it dulls it for a while, but then it just repeats. You need to fix the root cause. The root cause is what is going on up here and what is driving your eating patterns. And if you'd like to understand those patterns more, I have my free assessment in the description below. Take that, it takes about a minute, and it will give you a score and also some advice on what to do next to get better results. And what tends to surprise people when they sort this is that the weekends don't get more controlled. It's that the week changes too. When the restriction eases, when there's less control, when you're not cutting out entire food groups, that pressure across the week doesn't build in the same way. So when Friday comes around, there's less pressure to actually release. So what happens? The weekend stops being the time when everything comes out, when everything explodes. And without that, your Saturday and Sunday look completely different. Not more disciplined, but just more normal, in a way that you're able to live life without worrying about food all the time. So I covered briefly in this video why restriction builds cravings rather than reducing them. In this next one, I explain exactly why that happens and what to do about it. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe as well.